Hello, hello, hello. What's happening? It's Monday, right? It is Monday. Hope everybody is doing amazingly well. Thank y'all so much for joining me today. I super duper appreciate y'all for coming through today. Had to get rid of this bag. I'm not gonna be holding the bag, but we in here. It's Monday, September 30th, and it's been a crazy month, man. It has been a crazy month. I will say that literally from this point last month until this point this month. It's been a whirlwind, man. And I'm thankful for y'all being here. Really do appreciate y'all. Yesterday we had the book club and I was not in the best mood. Let me turn this music down because I don't know if y'all can hear me over the browser, but I know it's also loud in my head. We had the book club yesterday and I was not in the best moods before stream, man. It was a lot of things going on, but reading, watching Toni Morrison, my GOAT, and playing some Starfield felt amazing to me. It felt great to me and I really enjoyed it. I ended stream in a much lighter and brighter mood than I was at the beginning of stream, and I attribute that to all of you. Whether you're watching right now online on Twitch or if you're watching on the VOD on YouTube, I really truly appreciate all of your support. If everything else in my life changed, having y'all support meant the most to me, and it means the most to me. I'm not saying this in any weird goodbye capacity. Please don't get it twisted. I'm just acknowledging something that I feel truly in my heart of hearts. You know, the way that it goes is my family, my friends, and my loved ones. And I count a lot of y'all in my loved ones. What up, Nits? Some of y'all I can't wait to engage with every day, whether it be in my chat, in your chat, in the Discord, around in someone else's chat. I really truly enjoy this community that we're building here. The fact that y'all allow me to read y'all books, play a football game on easy, struggle at some shooters, and talk the news. I really do appreciate the fact that we've carved out this lane here on Twitch, and it's all of our own. If you're watching right now, I hope that you consider yourself a part of the outfit, which is what I call my community. Don't feel afraid to say hey, whether that be through the chat, through a comment on YouTube, through a tweet, what do they call them a thread on Threads? On Facebook, whatever it may be. I super duper truly appreciate all of your support. That being said, man, we in here. And I said that because, like, don't nobody talk about Threads, to be honest with you. So I don't even know, hey man, I seen that thread you put on Threads and the thread that it was in was crazy. You can't call everything a thread. Like, a single tweet ain't a thread. A thread is a thread. You can't come and rename shit. Elon Musk is ruining Twitter. That's just a fact. But the things that we were able to do on Twitter, I've been on Twitter since undergrad, dog. Like, that shit's real to me. I feel maybe I'm on the Titanic as it's sinking, right? But, like, I feel a way about the fact that, like, Twitter has been ruined. Even though we may get on there every day and share things or say things or whatever it may be, that shit is ruined. It's been ruined. There's, like, I think they said somewhere like 80% of the traffic is gone. I saw somewhere today that the valuation went from 44 billion to, hold on, was it somewhere like 44 billion to 9 billion? Me too, Dio. I'm gonna stay on there until it's gone as well, because still Twitter is still like the most preeminent place to spread the news. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later as we get into tonight and the news. I ain't following the right people on Blue Sky. I don't know. I need a Blue Sky starter pack of good people to follow, because that shit is dead to me, dog. I don't know. I get more engagement out of Threads than Blue Sky. Yeah, and it's like you got to go out of your way to find people. Even like if you follow this topic or follow this community, it just ain't hitting like I need to. Plus, all my nasty shit, I can't like that on Blue Sky or Threads, because y'all gonna see it. I don't want to like big booty women on Threads and then somebody mama see it. I can't do that. I have the way that I have, you need a burner on Blue Sky. See, that's a lot. I got a burner on Twitter. I got 3 different Twitter accounts, and I feel like they're Horcruxes. I feel like I got my main, and the one I engage with y'all ain't even main. That's the brand Twitter. I got the brand Twitter. I got my personal Twitter, and then big booty bitches. And never the twain shall meet. If I like something on brand Twitter and it's big booties, something wrong. I've been kidnapped. Nits, I can't. I'm way too far out there to be horny on main on Blue Sky or Threads. I can't even do it. It's so bad that when I open Threads, I'm like, damn, these are some beautiful women. Why are they on my Threads? Oh, because you like stuff like that, B. And they know because they're Instagram. Instagram knows you like beautiful black women. On that note, have y'all seen Mark Zuckerberg these days? So, those are the safe ones, Dio. We go beyond the pale. Yeah, dog, but he must have got a stylist, right? He had to have gotten a stylist, because even though he's a lizard person, he's trying to look like a 20-year-old hype beast. And it's really weird, because I'm like, damn, bro, who told you to curl your hair up, start wearing chains, and then wear brand clothing with your name on it? Who told you to do that? And that's what it really comes down to. You have to really train the algorithms to be like, oh, I like this, don't like that. Oh, I like this, don't like that. And the fact of the matter is, getting back to Feline Must, it's been his plan since day one. We know the people who gave him the money to buy Twitter, including Diddy, right? Oh, damn, I ain't even picked that up in here. Ooh, man, we got so much to discuss tonight. Damn, let me find some Diddy shit. So much to discuss tonight. Diddy, them Abu Dhabi niggas, hella people in the Middle East who want to curb your enthusiasm for uprising and dissent, all of that shit. And he bought it with the express purpose of like ruining what we've built. Because I ain't saying Twitter was perfect before, because when you have the internet and when you have anonymity, you have all kind of weirdos that pop up and want to say shit to you. But at least back in the day, Twitter was like, yeah, dog, you really keep harassing people. You need to go sit somewhere else. You're banned. Nowadays, it's like, unless you kill someone, record it and upload it to Twitter, you can do whatever you want there. Because it became I ain't gonna cut him slack because Jack knows what he did. But like, I feel like the original idea and what it became are two different things. Like, originally he had this in mind. And when it became this other thing, he was like, I don't want anything to do with this. I would rather have y'all buy crypto through Cash App. Boom, I'm done with this toy. But I really, really, really blame the what you call them niggas, the board of directors. Because y'all had to have sat there and chosen the money over everything else. Like, everything Twitter was, it no longer is. We're just the last brain cells firing off like firing off signals. Like, is there anybody out there? Remember when they like? Y'all can't tell me the traction that House of the Dragon gets on Sunday is nowhere near the same as it was back in the day when we were talking about them thrones. That was a cultural phenomenon. We changed the world when it came down to live tweeting events and not being spoilerific too, because that's another thing. These niggas be spoiling shit. What up, Nessa? How you doing? Somebody, they ain't spoiled JJK ending for me, but they were openly talking about the ending of JJK. And I just feel like there's not even enough people who are reading the original Japanese language manga for you to be doing that. At least let them niggas translate it to English before we start having conversations. But like the need to be first or loudest, it just is some other shit. As shareholders, their only interest was money, and they invested in a business that was never operated in the green and black, so we shouldn't be surprised by that. You're telling me something one of my best friends was talking to me about last month, because we had this exact conversation, right? And I was telling him, like, he's ruined this. And it's like, bro, it's a business, dog. At the end of the day, like, you can't sit here and tell me, like, the object is not to make money. And I'm like, but should it be, though? Like, I feel like there are certain institutions that it becomes about more than money. When you have Twitter, which never operated in the green or black, right? But yet niggas is getting free worldwide using your product as the means for liberation. I feel like it becomes more than a money getting operation. I forget I live in a capitalist hellscape. I do, because I want more for the world. I want more for us. I want more for when we have kids. Little Nits, little Nessa, little Dio, little Trippz. I want more for them, bruh. And we're at the point now, especially us who are engaging in chat right now. Yeah, it's VC firms do not care about freedoms. I know, but fuck venture capitalism. Fuck shareholders. Fuck capitalism overall. I just feel like, I don't know where it comes from. I don't know how it's set into motion. I just feel like certain things are bigger than money. But maybe that's where I'm wrong. Nothing's bigger than money in America. Nothing's bigger than money in a global capitalist society, right? America is so bad that our capitalism has now been exported into the world and has morphed into hyper capitalism. You got some people in some countries that I shall not name saying, hey, we don't do Saturday and Sunday. I don't know what the fuck y'all are talking about, a weekend? Nah, y'all better work 80 hours a week to get this motherfucking money for us. And I'm like, huh? What? 80 hours a week? And that's what y'all want to set the standard as? Hell nah. Fuck nah. What's to stop them? I think that people have to literally squeeze the value out of everything so that there is no value in anything before something changes. But how do you even know? Like, if you get $1, you think you getting as much as there's possibly out there when there's $100 trillion that you can be getting. If people liked your shit, but maybe it's not enough to be liked. Being liked don't pay the bills, right? But like, you can't sit here and tell me a product going from a 44 billion valuation to a 9.4 billion valuation in a little over 2 years is something y'all want. It can't be. It can't be. I don't know, bro. Maybe I'm just wrong. I don't know. I'm an idealist. I don't know. But I don't want for those people to be tied to a product that is not profitable for them in the long run anyway. Y'all, I mean, the $8 they getting from these fucking weirdos, cool. But the ad money being gone, like, I don't know. I feel like there was a way to middle ground it, right? And maybe that's where I'm wrong. Maybe that's why I don't get into conversation like that. Like, as an idealist, there had to be a middle of the road lane to get both the $8 subscription and the ad money from all companies who wanted to use this as an advertising thing, right? I'm tired of seeing the Evoke mobile game ads after every video I watch. Like, who the fuck is playing that game, bro? No one is playing that game, but they're the only people who are willing to pay you to push this video up. I get Temu ads nonstop. Bro, I don't even play mobile games. I don't play not one mobile game for them to be shoving this Evoke the King's Ransom game to me every day. The little hippo and the hippo's coming to get you, and then you put up a fucking log wall, and then it changes perspective, and then now you fighting on. Like, what does that have to do with anything? Yeah. Temu don't give a fuck about none of that. And then, okay, cool. Then you block them. Oh, we're getting rid of blocks and mutes. Okay, so I guess I have to sit here with Patriot Front advertising their racism to me as a black man. We were just talking about Twitter. Then we got into capitalism. Then we talking about how Twitter sucks. I don't know. I'd be spiraling, but I'm getting ahead of myself. How are y'all doing? Happy Monday. Welcome on in. Have you eaten? I just ate, so can't nobody get on me today. Have you eaten? You got some water? Y'all taking care of yourselves? Let me know. Hop in the chat. Let me know. I'm back in the gym tomorrow. I can't wait. It's going to be a good... I don't know if I'm going to lift super crazy. I'll probably do back, to be honest with you. I'm trying to get this back together. Had ribs, rice, and wings. Hey. Dio said, we eating today, my boy. Let's go. I'm in a great mood because my mom is good. I told y'all yesterday she's with my aunt right now. I talked to my aunt yesterday. I don't know, my aunt is developing this mafiosa personality where she smokes cigars like, you come to me today on the eve of my child's wedding. She doesn't sound like that, but she's got like this tough woman persona. I'm just like, dog, who are you? Because you're my auntie. And I've known you since you were like 13. Relax a little bit. Don't clip that. You can't fuss with me today. I've had breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and damn near 80 ounces in. Let's go. Nessa say she been peeing. I'll send it to her. I'll send it to my auntie too. But no, I'm just in a good mood. My family's doing okay in spite of everything going on, and we will talk a little bit later. So before we get started, here's what I got outlined. I've got Diddy. I've got politics. I've got Eric Adams. I've got the execution. I've got Israel. I've got the storms. Let me know if I'm missing anything. I know I usually ask that at the end of the stream, but giving y'all a little bit of heads up, if there's something big that I've missed, let me know now, and then I'll ask again at the end of this stream. 80 ounces is a lot of water, but I've been told it's not. So I don't know. Rest in peace to Kimbe Mutombo. I gotta say that. As an Atlanta resident, I have to say that. Ambassador for the sport of basketball. Ambassador for being one of the first African stars in the sport. And also in the American public zeitgeist. I have to give my salute to Dikembe Mutombo. I did not know he was suffering through brain cancer right now. It's disheartening to know these things about people that you looked up to when you were younger. Yeah, my mom and sister are good. They're at my aunt's house. My aunt is in South Carolina, and they were just outside. The kids don't do that. They do. They still be doing that. They be doing that. Oh, this. Here's my thing, and I'm gonna do a video on this. I'm not gonna do this because 20 years ago, this was different. This was a whole different symbol, and I'm not about to do this because people be doing things, and I don't know what. Oh, this. This is a gang sign too. These are gang signs. I'm not gonna do that, bro. Like this, come on. The whole heart. The whole heart. That's what it is. Anyway, I'll do a video on that later. Now you're gonna have these people trying to kill me. Let's talk about the fucking news, man. Anyway. I really enjoyed talking shit with y'all, man. This is so much fun to me. All right. So do I put it in? All right, let's get into the shits. So if you guys have never been here before, at the end of every month, we talk about top news stories, I guess I'd say. And I'm not going to say that this is the biggest news story, but I will say that, like, it's one of the ones that is in the zeitgeist the most because Puff Daddy has been in the mainstream for like 30 years. Got an extraction on Wednesday. You getting your teeth removed, my boy? Well, I hope you rest up because you need rest, before that. So rest up, chill. I hope you get to take a load off and all that good stuff. But welcome on in. So after months of speculation, Sean Combs was indicted on federal charges, including sex trafficking. So they talk a lot about what all that means, right? Alleged drug-fueled orgies, force and coercion, prostitution, and a cover-up are at the core of a searing 3-count federal indictment against Sean Diddy Combs. So we got sex trafficking, and I feel like that comes from the individual act of, hey, I am flying you out here with the express purpose of sex, right? Racketeering, conspiracy, which I feel like is the attempts to cover those crimes up and prevent them from coming to light, right? And interstate transportation for prostitution. Again, that's bringing literal sex workers across state lines. These charges threaten to end his entertainment empire and his freedom. Combs is depicted as the leader of an alleged criminal enterprise. That's the Combs enterprise, subjecting women and others. I feel like you could just say people, right? Women and men to a pattern of physical and sexual abuse, according to federal prosecutors. They allege that over a span of years, Combs would ply victims with narcotics and even resort to violence and intimidation during days-long sex sessions. That's excessive. All right? Super duper excessive. What up, Lola? How you doing? He did not act alone, according to federal prosecutors, although no one else has yet been charged in the case. Combs allegedly had assistants, managers, and security staff who made sure that women and male prostitutes were present at these freak-off events and that the hotel rooms where they were staged were stocked with supplies like baby oil and lubricant. Also, this picture under that statement is wild to me. So what's interesting about this, right, is the intersection of money and power and fame with these charges. Because I feel like people are minimizing the things that are being said in the indictment, if they even read the indictment at all, because it's Sean Combs. Now, in recent days or the past week, I've heard a lot about, oh, well, this is happening because he's a black man. Nah. Because I think that what people get confused is, oh, if I was rich, I would have people coming out to fuck me too. But there's a difference between someone wanting to consensually engage in acts with you to being forced across state lines and forced to participate in sex acts, not only with you, but with other people involved. Right? That's part of the PR to conflate it being just sex. Yeah, there's a lot of that, but it ends up happening frequently because it's not just Puffy. It's Russell Simmons. It's any rich man. You can go all the way up to Donald Trump, right? People don't think the things that they do are bad because if they were rich and famous, they would do similar things, and they think being rich and or famous absolves them of like the criminal acts behind them. It's not the fact that he said, hey, I'm out here partying, y'all should come through so we can have sex. That's not what happened. It was, hey, your career is going nowhere unless you do this to me and him and him and him. It's, hey, one story, that came up was literally flying an underage girl from Detroit to New Jersey, assaulting her, not just him, but his cohort as well, and then flying her back before the sun came up. That's wild. Like, when you actually get into the details of what happened and you ask people, well, would you do that? They would say, hell no, man, I wouldn't do any of that. Well, then shut the fuck up. I also feel like what happens is there's a certain apathy that goes on where no one is going to actually look at these charges and the actual instances in which these charges were based upon and be like, oh, damn, I didn't know it was that. They're not going to go that far. They're just going to hear the word freak off and they would be like, well, I'm rich. If I was rich, I would have freak offs too. If I was rich, I would do this too. But let's go far enough to really understand what happened before you say that, before you also claim, oh, I would do the same exact thing. Because you probably wouldn't, bro. To be honest with you, you probably wouldn't. During bicoastal raids in his LA and Miami homes, authorities say they seized various freak-off supplies that included drugs and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Now, the baby oil is now rumored to not be baby oil, but to be like a liquid ecstasy, which they make that, bro. Like, I mean, yeah, they probably make that, but like 1,000 bottles of baby oil is wild, but 1,000 bottles of liquid ecstasy is also super duper wild. And that alludes to it being way, way more than consensual acts. His accusers say that he's where he belongs, the once powerful man who they say was able to buy silence and compliance for decades. Lizette Martinez, a survivor and one of the first victims of R&B singer R. Kelly to come forward, said there are similarities in the case. Kelly was charged with sex trafficking, kidnapping, forced labor, racketeering, and obstruction of justice. They had a whole documentary, Surviving R. Kelly, and most people did not even watch that shit, bro. I say even most of the people who support that man did not even watch that shit. To be honest with you, I watched it because I was in disbelief. They got me on the very first episode because, going back to the R. Kelly thing, because while it was rumored that he had a relationship with Aaliyah, having someone affirmatively state, yes, he had a relationship with her, physical relationship with her. I participated in the forgery of documents so they could get married, even though she was underage. It confirms a lot, and it makes you go like, wow, we were joking or, very blasé about these rumors. And then you see an interview where they're dressed alike and you see the pull that he has on this young girl, and it makes your like chills go down your spine. It's disgusting. Didn't Diddy blow up Kid Cudi's car for dating his ex? That's a thing to have been confirmed by Kid Cudi. He confirmed that. He said that happened. That shit is wild. it's just a lot of defense mechanisms coming in. But all of this happened because of Cassie. Let's state that first. This happened because Cassie came forward with her lawsuit that came about like literally days before the end of a statute in New York City, where victims of sex crimes could sue the perpetrators of those crimes. And putting that into the public record, that this happened, that happened, the Kid Cudi thing, all of that was stated in those documents. And that put that in the public record. And it opened a can of worms to which a lot more people stepped forward. They made it about her getting money because he paid her. And he paid her within 24 hours of those documents being released to the public. That in and of itself, to me, I'm not a person I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a nigga that like thinks about things. All right. If there was something that somebody said that I did not do, I would be loud and proud to fight them about that. I would stake my reputation that I didn't do that. But if I did do it and I wanted to hurry up and shut that shit down before anything else happened, I would pay her. That's what I would do. And he did. But that didn't stop the can of worms, because I think like maybe 2 or 3 other women came forward. And then literally at the end of that week, a man came forward. And around the same time that all this happened, which was I think late last year, he had released an album literally a month or 2 before. And the man that came forward was a producer on that album who said that he was just party to certain comments being said to him, being in situations in which women were pushed upon him by Puff. And then he said that one time he was given drinks and lost consciousness and woke up in a bed with Puff and 2 women. And I think that people, again, don't read the details of these things, because you would ask yourself, damn, like, if he did that to you and you helped him on his album, I wonder if he did this to anyone else. It's a system that they develop over time. It gets refined with what works and what doesn't work, right? And you wouldn't just do this, I'm going to just try this and see if this works. You try what works, and you only know what works by doing it over and over again. If you're looking at all the bottles in his home, but what's a bottle of baby oil in each sex worker purse? Correct. But if it's liquid GHB or whatever they're calling it, I also would ask, how much of a dose does it actually take to intoxicate someone? And then how much more is the actual regular size of a baby bottle? How much more is that? Like, if you're thinking of it in those terms, you probably got hella drugs on you, bro. 1,000 bottles, certain volumes. If you only need this much and you have this much in a bottle and you have 1,000 of those, nigga, you should go to jail forever. Then we start thinking about, oh, Puff's parties are legendary. People go to the parties all the time. They're going back through interviews of not just him, but other celebrities who have said, oh, this crazy stuff happened at a Puffy party and I can't talk about it. There's a difference between being sexually open and free and being in an environment where it encourages that. And then there's a difference between that and like, oh, we're applying drugs on unwilling and unwitting people. Underaged men, women, boys, girls, whoever may be around, because I have fame and I have money to protect me, to shield me with. Because I say, take that. No one will ever think that I am this person who drugs and incapacitates people and takes advantage of them. But think about that over some years. And we ain't even talking about the violence yet. We ain't even talking about you having AKs to pull down on people who may be going against the grain on that. So I think we're at the tippy top of the iceberg. And what's going to complicate this is most of the people that participated in some of those parties are not willing to talk because they have their own reputations at stake. But the regular people who have, what did he have over them to make them engaged, to keep coming back? And that's another thing. People blame victims for coming back. When he has your career in his fist like that, what choice do you have? I'm talking about Cassie. I'm talking about Dawn Richards. I'm talking about this producer. Extrapolate that past 30 years, bro. Now, I don't agree with where it's being taken. Cat Williams' exact quote, and I know this exact quote because me and my friends use that as it's not a joke, but we say it jokingly. Diddy gonna invite you to them parties? You gotta say no. You gotta say no. Because it was like the worst kept secret among people about what was going on at some of those parties. And now that we bring that into the, think about powerful, rich people, right? Think about them engaging in acts that normal people wouldn't, and being recorded past without their consent. So now you got blackmail. Now you have forced allies for whatever you want to have them co-sign or be a part of, because they're on video engaging in these acts that they would not want anyone to know that they're a part of. It gets deep, man. It really gets deep. And the thing about it is all of this was a denial about everything. Even the Cassie thing. He paid her and then he let the narrative go that, oh, it was about money. Nothing, there was no truth to this. It was about money. And then that video came out of him assaulting her in that hotel, the elevator bay. And we went from she's lying to I fucked up really quickly, bro, to the point where I was watching that man for months, like, parade out his children as a shield for him and his reputation, right? Like on Instagram, he would post pictures of him and his children. He has like twin little girls. He's got a little baby girl now. His sons, a lot of shit. And he wouldn't say anything but like, oh, just being the family man that I am. And in 24 hours, that shit went from that to I fucked up. I was at a low place in my life, because you could just pass that off as a one-off. But when you pair that video to what Cassie actually said in those documents, to me, it proved, yo, this shit get a lot deeper. When somebody get caught cheating, they're always going to say, this is the first time this ever happened. Until you can pull out locations and dates and people and specific instances, then you can prove a pattern. That's how all that plays out. And so when you get caught in the cookie jar, you're like, mama, I only took one cookie. It was 24 cookies in here and now there's only 3. So if it wasn't you, who was it? And we ain't talking about cookies, we talking about people. It's just weird, man. It's just weird. And it's weird to see people hide behind the race thing. As a black man, hide behind the race thing, because now it makes that whole thing systemic to me, because we can't do this to everybody who is an abuser. Oh, well, he's a black man. Da, 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 da. Well, you should want that brother to be held accountable. If you so worried about the specter of black men and how we're all looked at as violent, and you should want the violent predator motherfuckers to be pushed out of that group so you can protect the integrity of the group. But we're not going to pull that out every time something happens as, oh, he couldn't have done it because he's black and he's a black man. They didn't want to put this on him. Nah, bro. You don't know what the fuck was going on. We can look back at I could pull a random Diddy clip up right now. He says something sus in it and we'll just laugh it off like, oh, that's weird. Yeah, I like how you was doing that, daddy. Well, it's weird until you realize, he's a bisexual man and that was a slip for him. And he was around very machismo, masculine people, and they didn't really like that. But he's used to being around and able to say things, whatever he wants to say. The mask slipped. Those kids are going to need therapy, Ace. You're correct. You're correct. You're correct. It's so sad, man. I can't do that. I can't really do that. I'm not going to read the details because I don't want to like trigger anyone. But if you guys are, and I say that now after I've been talking about this for the past few minutes, but it gets deep, man. Violent assaults, forcible assaults. Then you have people who were a part of things, and you can go look up old Carisha tweets, right? Where she's tweeting this one woman, they were going back and forth. I think the woman said, girl, you want me or something like that. I'm just going to say it like that. And she said, girl, I could have you if I want to. Diddy can make that happen. Oh, word? He could force someone to do sex acts on you? If only he was charged for things like that. That's not beyond the pale of the things that he was charged for. It's weird and it gets deep, and we can't let people hide behind their fame, behind their money, doing wild shit like that. Like, you have your regular fucked up shit people do where they lie, they cheat, they steal, whatever. And then you have the beyond the pale stuff. And now we have a systemic situation where he's been able to do beyond the pale stuff for decades and get very comfortable doing that. And I would ask those same kids that are going to need therapy, how much they were exposed to, his adult children, how much they were party or privy to, what habits they picked up. It's really weird, man. It's really unfortunate. And I hate the fact that, the victims of this were kind of shrugged and chastised up until this became a bigger thing. And even now that it's a bigger thing, we have the R. Kelly playbook being, oh, he's a black man. We got to protect our black man from being, accused of things like this. Well, I mean, hey, bro, it's a lot of black men celebrities that aren't being accused of things like this. And I think those will be the ones that we need to support, and not the ones that, if you're looking at it over time, it makes sense. It's starting to smell like doo-doo in here. Oh, because there's a pile of shit back here named Puffy. So that's it. All right, let's pivot. What else is going on? Look at this shit. We're gonna talk about this in a minute, but look at this shit. Let's get into politics.
I'm gonna actually do something really unusual, and I'm gonna invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies, because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom. And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you. You will not hear him talk about your needs, your dreams, and your desires.
So I actually saw a video this past week of people leaving the rally halfway through. And what I heard, I'm not going to say that this is a true thing. I'm just going to say this is a thing that I heard, is that they pay people to attend. And people will come, they will check into the rally, and then as soon as the money hits their account, they dip. And I actually heard this from someone who is considered a conservative, a Christian conservative, who I guess has been soured on this man. But we have seen video of this happening, people leaving in droves.
And I'll tell you, I believe you deserve a president who actually puts you first, and I pledge to you that I will.
We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of is being lost. We're a failing nation. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country. And it's
so yeah, and the bus things have been happening even since the last election. Even I think probably before, they do bus people in, and then last time they were abandoning those people. This clip here, the eating the dogs and the cat shit, it really, to me, was the wildest shit that I think I've heard as an adult person someone say and try to make sense. Try to make it make sense. And I don't know if it does, bro. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone other than him. I don't even know how you make that make sense to you, bro. What do you have to be on to feel like you can say something like that and not get checked on it? I have no clue. I have no clue. Let me try something real quick. No, I can't do that. I'm not gonna fuck with this camera no more. So yeah, that is what I wanted to show y'all. And it's born out of rumors. So I'll say before that got started, this got started. So this is a thread of people in, this was Colorado, I think Aurora, which Aurora is a smaller town in Colorado that we did not know existed. I did not know existed until the Joker shooter, The Dark Knight Rises, right? And it's so interesting that is now, it's back in the forefront for racism. And not racism in the town, but people choosing this as a battleground to project their racism on top of. So this was even before the debate and before the Haitian immigrants got the spotlight. So mind you, these people have been demonizing Hispanic immigrants forever. It's been a long time that this has been happening. So in Aurora, they were saying, oh, Hispanic gangs are coming and they got AKs. These people are poor, bro. Like, this is the conditions. They're paying between $17,000 and $2,000 to live in. Windows broken out. This is an abandoned apartment, but this is what the apartment looks like. $2,000 for this.
And here you can see all of the receipts of every time that we pay.
So these are the conditions in which people are living. And then on top of that, you want to throw the specter of racism, right? On top of, I think there was a video of somebody they were like, oh, we got people with AKs. They're coming here and doing this wild shit. The police chief themselves. But what we're learning out here is that gang members have not taken over this complex. That is the interim chief of police in Aurora saying that y'all are lying. Y'all are lying. So these people who support the police are going against the police to perpetuate this stereotype of immigrants being dangerous. So this happened, I think, again, shortly before the election, before the debate, and it got debunked rather quickly. A Venezuelan gang taking over the town. So we go from that to they're eating the dogs. They're demonizing. They need a new demon to make everyone afraid of. And so if they can't make you afraid of the Hispanic gangs like they were able to in the Back the Blues, they don't back the blue. I'm being honest with you. Because if they back the blue, then the shit that happened on January 6th wouldn't have happened, right? If you supported police, would you not listen to the police as they were telling you to not fucking enter the Capitol? Like, you caused a police officer to kill himself. Y'all are harassing police officers. I don't know if y'all have seen the HBO documentary about January 6th, but that was the wildest shit ever. And I'll go back to that actual day. It was one of the weirdest days I've ever lived. Myself, Esquire, and Nemo were in the Discord literally watching this happen live. I was at work and my boss called and said, we're not getting shit done today because this is happening. If they supported the police, if they supported law and order, they would not have done that. That is the most blatant lie and the most hypocritical thing that could ever come out of politics to me in my lifetime. They backed the blue because, in comparison to what y'all want to do with the police, we got to seem like the opposite. But when they oppose what we want, we be on the worst shit ever. Actually, Babbitt deserved to die. Hey, fuck, I gotta find the one picture. I'll tell y'all what it was. No, don't fuck it up. No. This picture. It was this picture that sparked everything. This one picture. And like Ace said, it was while seeing a 4chan post capture the entire nation. It was this picture of this man with these two geese. And what was said was he was taking these geese to go eat. And it was a blatant lie. First of all, this man is not even in Springfield at all. He's not in Springfield. It was a whole different town. And what happened with these geese is they got hit by a car. And he actually works for the city and took these geese from where they were getting hit by a car to go get help. So you have this picture that someone lied. Then you have what you're saying, Nessa, a lady who said she started the rumor of the eating cats and dogs and she never expected it to become what it came. The anonymous man who was snapped carrying the bodies of two birds earlier this week was removing them from the street after they were hit by a car, according to the Ohio Division of Wildlife. There is no evidence he was taking them home to eat or that he is a migrant. So let's start there. There's no evidence he's a migrant. There's no evidence he took them home to eat. But this picture mixed with someone on Facebook saying, oh, they're eating dogs and cats, mixed with people who just have an interest in spreading misinformation. Like to the point where they took a picture of some people grilling and Photoshop it being a cat or a dog on the grill. Also, how is it weird to eat goose? Like I would assume he went hunting. Ace, you got you got really good questions, and I don't know. I know people who have eaten geese, and I'm like, maybe it's not for me. I don't really be eating fowl like that, other than chicken and turkey. I don't eat quail. I'm good. Me personally, hen maybe. That's about it. This turned into the wildest shit ever. Yeah, I'm not going to support y'all. And then it grew into something completely even crazier. Bomb threats for a second consecutive day of school closures in Springfield, Ohio. Because we want to demonize immigrants. Let's call in a bomb threat to elementary schools, public schools, and municipal buildings. As the city continues to deal with sudden national attention because of false claims involving its Haitian population. That's not weird to nobody. Elementary schools were evacuated from their buildings to an alternative district location. Y'all are threatening to blow up kids because of fear of immigrants. But we talking about the people who care about the kids. Y'all care about the kids so much, y'all won't let drag queens read to children. But you're going to threaten to blow up an elementary school because you heard immigrants were eating dogs and cats. And the eating dogs and cats thing is not even a new rumor. They just moved that rumor from one population, I'm not going to say which population it was involved around, usually, to a whole different one. Once they're out of the womb, they care. They're pro-birthers, not pro-children. Yeah, there's that. That's a true thing. We can't deny. But now we're talking explicitly about threatening to hurt people. The day before they evacuated those two elementary schools, it was a middle school. In addition to those schools, several city commissioners and a municipal employee were the target of an emailed bomb threat. Another email threatened multiple locations that include City Hall, the high school, an elementary school, a middle school, the DMV, the License Bureau. Like, what the fuck the DMV got to do with anything? So we pulling these kids out of school because y'all care about the community so much. Okay. To the point where there was a man who said, "Hey, bro, fuck you, New York Times. Hey, bro, I hate y'all so much." I wish I could have my VPN in. This man, I can't even show y'all the shit because fuck the New York Times. He's a lifelong Republican. He has fewer Haitian employees than others in the city. But he said, "Hey, bro, y'all tripping. These Haitian people work hard for me." And they said, "We'll kill you." We'll kill you because you have gone against the grain and said something that that is not the narrative that we're trying to push. This is a culture of hate, bro. And it don't matter who is the target. They'll spray anybody involved to prove a point. And if you go against the point they're trying to prove, they'll kill you too. And it's false. It's patently false. Patently false. You got Haitian people who have had to be like, "Hey, man, my mom and sister live here and they want to go back to Haiti because of the shit y'all are doing." And I don't know if y'all know, Haiti is not the best place to be right now. People are fleeing Haiti. If you really want to get into it, people are fleeing Haiti because of the gangs that are there. But the gangs are there because of the disruption that has gone into Haitian politics, the Haitian economy, and that is caused not by Haiti itself. That's caused by developed nations disabling that nation specifically. Haiti has been punished for probably the last 200 to 300 years because it was the first nation to throw off the shackles of slavery. I'll go on record saying it 10,000 times. 10,000 times. The shit that has happened in Haiti is literally America, France, and other developed nations' fault. Matter of fact, when the Haitian president was murdered, they traced the people who planned that back here. The massive civil unrest is happening because this nation, which is rich with all of these resources, it gets so deep, dog. It gets so deep. It gets so deep. I really don't even want to get into it with y'all because I'll sound like Charlie Day and the meme, but literally it's that deep, bro. Dio said it. Haitian president was installed by Americans and assassinated by Americans. Going back to the days of Papa Doc, America installed a dictator who murdered people for decades. Because that's who they want ruling that country. And whenever you try to buck that, they kill you. Not all Americans, but Americans. It's weird, man. And so they flee that to come here to go to Springfield, Ohio, to just work jobs. And now they're being accused of eating dogs and cats. And that's enough for me like, oh, we want to kill them. Bomb threats. That shit's weird, man. That shit is weird. Let's get even weirder. Let's go to North Carolina where it's real weird. I would love to watch this video, except the fact that I'm not gonna get caught and put off with shit. Mark Robinson, the controversial and socially conservative Republican nominee for governor of North Carolina, made a series of inflammatory comments on a pornography website's message board more than a decade ago. Let me tell you this, dog. There's nothing wrong with watching porn. It's healthy. Most of it. Some of it. But a porn message board, I think that's beyond regular consumption of pornography. When you want to engage with other people watching pornography and you want to be known for your comments. In which he referred to himself as a black Nazi, okay, Kanye, and expressed support for reinstating slavery. Despite a recent history of anti-transgender rhetoric, Robinson said he enjoyed watching transgender pornography, a review of archived messages in which he also referred to himself as a perv. The comments, which Robinson, of course, denies making, predate his entry into politics and current stint as North Carolina's lieutenant governor. So he is currently the lieutenant governor of North Carolina, who says he enjoys watching transgender porn, but is now demonizing transgender people because that's the political hot topic, hot topic. Hypocrite. They were made under a username that CNN was able to identify as Robin by matching a litany of biographical details and a shared email address between the two. And you didn't even use a burner. You used your real email address to say these things. And that's not where it stops. It gets worse. It gets worse. Many of Robinson's comments were gratuitously sexual and lewd in nature. They were made between 2008 and 2012. Bro, I was fucking 21. Nude Africa, a pornographic website that includes a message board. The comments were made under the name Mini Soldier, a moniker Robinson used frequently online. And you use your screen name. That would be like me being CapnTrippz on Pornhub, which I'm not ashamed of what I consume. Anyway, he listed his full name on his profile, as well as an email address he used on numerous websites across the internet for decades. He used the family email address. Many of his comments on Nude Africa stand in contrast to his public stances on issues such as abortion and transgender rights. Publicly, he has fiercely argued that people should use bathrooms only that correspond with the gender they were assigned at birth. He's also said that transgender women should be arrested for using women's bathrooms. If you're a man on the front, I'm not going to repeat what that fucker said. Fuck that. Yet privately, under his username, he graphically described his own sexual arousal as an adult from the memory of secretly peeping on women in public gym showers as a 14-year-old. This isn't Porky's. This isn't Porky's. I came to a spot that was a dead end, but had two big vent covers over it. It just so happened that it overlooked the showers. So you were in the ceiling? You crawled in the ceiling to peep on people? I sat there for about an hour and watched several women shower. I went peeping again the next morning. But after that, I went back. The ladder was locked. Ah, memories. He said, I like watching tranny on girl porn. That's fucking hot. It takes the man out while leaving the man in. And yeah, I'm a perv too. Then he says, this is not us. These are not our words. Sir, you're a one individual. Who is us and are? Who is us and are? That's the truth, Ace. 1000%. It's always the haters that be the one fantasizing about those people. Even like people who really, really don't like black people, they watch the most black porn. Every year Pornhub does that like reveal of what the biggest category in each state is. And it always is interesting to me that in states where they don't like black people, they be watching the most ebony porn. So yeah, they're talking about that, but I want to go into some more of the what the fucker this man said. So he's supporting a heartbeat bill that would ban abortion when a heartbeat is detected approximately 6 weeks, with exceptions for rape, incest, and health of the mother. But writing as Minnesota on New to Africa in 2010, he said he didn't care about a celebrity having an abortion. I don't care. I just want to see the sex tape. Nessa, you right. I don't want to. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about my proclivities. In another thread, commenters considered whether to believe the story of a woman who said she was assaulted by her taxi driver while intoxicated. In response, he said, and the moral of the story is don't fuck a white bitch. Those are two different issues. Those are two different issues. He also repeatedly maligned MLK, calling him a fucking commie bastard. Get him off the national wall, the mall. I'm not in the KKK. They don't let blacks in. If I was in the KKK, I would have called him Martin. Wow. 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 This comes weeks after the Assembly, a North Carolina digital publication, reported that he frequented local video pornography shops in the 90s and the 2000s. The story cited 6 people who interacted and saw him frequent the stores in Greensboro, North Carolina. So they didn't even get into this man also said he had sex with his somebody he's related to. It's bad, bro. It's bad, bro. He also got outed by his email from a porn shop that he owes money to. The owner is in a band and made a song about him owing the money. Hey, man. I know this better be the last year I hear about this man. Nah, dog. It's so interesting to me that the fans of that political party are calling the other people perverts and all these things. And these are what they got going on. This is what they got going on, bro. He frequently uses derogatory and racial slurs toward black, Jewish, and Muslim people. I'm not gonna repeat any of that. Yeah, he said he had sex with somebody he's related to. And they didn't talk about this in this article, but that's one thing that stuck out to me a lot. And they're minimizing that. That's the thing that happened, bro. So either he did it or he's saying he did it, but it's weird that he did it, dog. This is how I feel about everything that we're talking about right now. North Carolina, y'all want to do this? That's what y'all want to do in North Carolina? I don't know, bro. Your boy got shot at again. This is even a minor story now. This shit came and went. This man got assassination attempts on him twice, And we ran past those stories because why? I'm not even like tripping. Like we should be tripping on it, but it's not weird to nobody. And I feel like both people had issues mentally. But both people were also like registered Republicans. So it's not bad that registered Republicans with mental issues want to take this man out. That's not weird to nobody. Also, as a person who likes conspiracy theories or used to, this don't have Manchurian Candidate type shit all over it, bro. Do they be doing that in House of Dragons? No, it doesn't. Okay, I'll stop. This is more insidious. I still think the first one was a little bit of a. I ain't saying it wasn't real, but because somebody definitely died. But he didn't get shot. The teleprompter got shot, and a part of it hit his ear. And then that weekend there was no blood or no wound on his ear. It's interesting. This one, like Dio said, he didn't even get shot. Somebody else got shot. But the man was definitely outside the golf course and like 100 meters away from him. And I feel like that's weird. Especially it coming after the other attempt. So even if the Secret Service can't provide security for you, you don't have your own security when you on the golf course. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to absolve Secret Service, but like, we do not know if the man was actually there to attack Trump. He wrote a manifesto. I was watching the news last week when I was at home, and a month ago, the man dropped a box off with his friend who did not open the box until after the man was arrested for this. And I believe the news. I don't know what to believe, bro. I don't know what to believe. All I know is what is being said. And it's being said that man a month ago said, if you're reading this, I might have just tried to shoot the president. I don't know, bro. But what I'm saying is this. At your golf course, whether the Secret Service is there or not, you don't have security. You don't have nobody there. I just kind of want the election to come on and happen. I don't know what's going to happen, but I just kind of want it to come on. Because I feel like anybody with a goddamn brain has to go ahead and get this man out of the zeitgeist. I feel like this is our chance to get rid of him once and for all. Because he said that he's going to lead a country. He said he's not going to run again. Let's go ahead and make that happen. Because all I know is in 4 years, he's probably not going to be here. So let's just get this shit out the way. This shit weird, bro. This shit weird. Authorities said a man stuck the barrel of the rifle through the fence at the edge of the golf course while he was golfing. Secret Service agents on the course spotted the weapon and opened fire on the man, who fled. Later, they identified the vehicle, a black Nissan, thanks to a bystander's photograph, and soon traced it to neighboring Martin County to the north. The suspect is Ryan Ruth, 58 years old. They're trying to tie it to he did this the same day he said he hated Taylor Swift because Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala. But I just think anybody with a brain watching that debate was like, hey, I can't vote for this man. Ace says, I don't necessarily believe that. I think more and more people are desperate and angry that Trump didn't give them the answers to their problems. People are becoming more violent. I think people are becoming more violent 1,000%. I think that there are a lot of people who are upset that he didn't give them the answers to their problems. But I also feel like everybody can kind of see that, like, there's a, what do you call it? Do you call it devolution or de-evolution? I'm not sure. of that specific political party. And instead of putting someone out there who has a little bit of sense, like let's go back to Mitt Romney, where it was just like the evil rich man, right? Instead of just an evil rich man who wants to make everything about capitalism and venture capital, we have this man who wants to make everything about capital and venture capital. And also he's crazy as fuck. Maybe not crazy. I don't want to say crazy and like cast aspersions on the people with mental issues or illnesses, but like he is definitely suffering through dementia at the least. At the least. As much as they talked about Biden and him not being able to like he had a cold during the first debate and he wasn't making sense, he wasn't fighting back here. They've been sane washing, and that's a term that I had not heard before this week. Sane washing Donald Trump. Bloomberg posted this tweet. He sharpened his criticism on border security in a swing state visit, playing up a political vulnerability for Kamala Harris. That's what Bloomberg said. Bloomberg obviously would have Trump as their candidate if they endorsed them, but that's not what he said. He didn't sharpen criticism. He rambled incoherently about French fries and flies, called immigrants animals, and Kamala Harris was mentally disabled. And they said he sharpened his criticism. There's videos out there somewhere of that specific rally or rallies he's had since then. And that shit's kind of weird, bro. Not just kind of, it's really weird. It's really weird. And I just think that there are strings being pulled that we know about and things that we don't know about that are happening in the background. And I'm not trying to be the conspiracy theorist, but like, who wins? Big business wins if Trump is back in the White House. Big business wins. It's really weird what's happening these days. Let's go to lighter fare. Do y'all remember when this happened?
Abuse against Black and Hispanic people that you revived. They analyzed 10 of those different neighborhood safety teams and found that they're conducting 97% of their stops on Black and brown people, and a quarter of them are unconstitutional. That's what the Federal Monitor said, not me.
Yeah, and at the same time, let's be clear on this, because what you're giving the perception of, this is a Federal Monitor that came in long before I was mayor. Can
yes,
we agree on that?
Yes, they monitor NYPD, not you specifically.
Two,
you're
right,
the mayor.
Right. Number two, I have been the mayor for 2 years and 3 months. Mm-hmm. We've had a tradition of over-policing for generations.
And they said it's worse now that you're hearing it around NYPD's abuses. But just last year, we paid out $150 million in settling police misconduct from NYPD. And that was double the number. That's double the number in police misconduct since you became mayor.
I noticed something. I noticed how much passion and commitment you have.
It's one of your constituents. Right?
Yeah, and I'm one of my constituents too now. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I grew up.
All right. So that happened a couple months ago, if I'm not mistaken. And following that very public checking by this very educated, intelligent woman, passionate about her people, her community, he had her being monitored by the police. And it's not just her. This is happening kind of around the country, that if you are vocal in your outrage or holding your politicians accountable, they will use the system that they are in control to monitor you. Like having you followed, having your loved ones monitored, tapping phones, social media accounts, anything they could do to catch you slipping, they will. So like, I feel like after this, she disappeared almost, because it was not in her best interest to continue being out there, because people are watching her. Like, got detectives using city hours. She didn't disappear. Okay. She was monitored though, right? That was the thing that happened. I'm saying this as a person who I don't follow her as closely as you do. So you may have known where she was. The leftists attacked her on socials, so she would delete her socials ever so often. Interesting. Do y'all remember the last New York City mayoral election? I remember this man was losing badly. badly. I don't even think that he was really in the real running, because at the time it was a person, I forget the woman's name, but it was a woman, and she was very much a part of the defund the police caucus. I guess I would say that's how I would call it. And it wasn't until she became predominantly like the people's choice that they propped him up. Who better to go against a defund the police person than the actual police? And then we get to this happening last week. Yeah, because it's only the 30th. This literally happened at the end of last week. 5 federal criminal charges of accepting bribes, wire fraud, and illegal campaign contributions from foreign nationals. I don't care about who he is. The charge is conspiracy to commit wire fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and actually committing wire fraud, solicitation of a contribution from a foreign national, and bribery. Federal prosecutors claim Adams secretly solicited and accepted illegal gifts and campaign donations from wealthy foreigners. In particular, allegations that Adams accepted luxury airline tickets, meals, and hotel rooms from Turkish officials. According to the indictment, Adams returned the favor when he pressured the city's fire department to approve the opening of a new Turkish consular building without a fire inspection in 2021. It alleges the building would have failed an inspection at the time, but Turkish officials were eager to open it ahead of Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, because that's how you pronounce his name, visit to the city for the UN General Assembly. The indictment also alleges Adams illegally accepted foreign campaign donations and used them to steal $10 million in public funds through the city's matching funds program. I hate they put steal in quotations like that. I'll be honest with you, I don't think that's it. The way that the matching campaigns was, like, he had X amount of money and the city would match those donations because if he was not getting enough, they're trying to match it so he can basically fluff up his funds. I'll be honest, and maybe this is just me spitballing. I don't think Turkey was the only country to press him like that. I'm not going to say who, but it's another country that probably put some money in this man's pocket. And why do I think that? I think that specifically because of his response to student protests at Columbia. Y'all know what they were protesting. So I think if we really wanted to dig further, you could find more shit about this man and who gave him money for what. Because basically it's not quid pro quo because it's not free. That dick wasn't free. They gave him money and he gave them favors in return. He quelled student protests. He quelled First Amendment rights to protest on behalf of other countries. And then had the audacity to sit here and tisk anybody that questioned him. Which is why I played that clip in the first place. I just knew he was bad news, bro. When you in the club with A$AP Rocky during COVID, I just don't think that there's much you need to do to, like, make it make sense. There are text messages of one exchange I saw was he got tickets to go to Turkey. And the person was like, okay, we're going to charge him $100 for the tickets. And then the city official that was texting them was like, no, give me a real amount. You have to make it look real. And so I think altogether he may have paid like $1,500 for a regular ticket for himself and his partner that was then bumped to business class. And those tickets at the time frame that they were traveling would have cost $15,000, but they paid $1,500 for them. And so we're talking favors like that in return for you basically green lighting this consular buildings being open for a dictator, because Erdogan is a dictator. Erdogan is the same person who had like Enes Kanter, the former NBA basketball player, had his father imprisoned. Also, he didn't even try to hide anything. It was just out in the open. He didn't think he needed to. He didn't think he needed to because he has been doing sideways shit. He's an NYPD. He was an NYPD cop. I don't know if y'all know this, but they're one of the most corrupt cop organizations in the country. So if you've been doing it since those days, and then you become the fucking president of Brooklyn, I think they called it. Then you become the actual mayor. Your power increases, so I feel like you would be emboldened by that. Because if you hadn't got caught as a cop or the president of Brooklyn, whatever the fuck they call that shit, why would you get caught as the mayor? Who would even look into you as the mayor? Unchecked power at that point in time. It's weird, dog. It's weird what these people do. It's weird what these people do. I think the other country that pressed him like that was the country that's literally committing terrorist acts out in the open. Like exploding pagers, killing 9 people and injuring thousands. And I like how they, like, all of the press about it has, like, pagers used by hundreds of members of Hezbollah exploded near simultaneously Tuesday, well, this was a couple weeks ago, in Lebanon and Syria, killing at least 9 people, including an 8-year-old girl, and wounding several thousand. So we know specifically that all those pagers were only given to Hezbollah members. We know that for a fact, or are we just saying that because it colors it in a specific way, right? If you say only terrorists, quote unquote, where it ain't no quote unquote, Hezbollah is not like Hezbollah is on some bullshit. Cool. But if you color it as only these people were hurt, you remove sympathy from millions of people. Like they were terrorists, they got what they wanted. But how do you know those pagers only were in Hezbollah's hands? Somebody make that, like, let me know how we know that. Hezbollah and the Lebanese government blamed Israel for what appeared to be a sophisticated remote attack. An American official said that country briefed the United States on Tuesday after the conclusion of the operation, which means that they didn't even know that this happened. Small amounts of explosives secreted in pagers were detonated. Among the wounded was Iran's ambassador to Lebanon. So we're trying to say that this person, the ambassador to Lebanon, is a terrorist? Then the wild shit, right? Hold on, let me finish reading this because let me not get ahead of myself. The pagers that blew up were apparently acquired by Hezbollah after the group's leader ordered members in February to stop using cell phones, warning they could be tracked by Israeli intelligence. Okay? A Hezbollah official told the Associated Press the pagers were a new brand, but declined to say how long they've been in use. Taiwanese company Gold Apollo said Wednesday that it authorized its brand on the AR-924 pagers used by the Hezbollah militant group, but the devices were produced and sold by a company called BAC. So you mean to tell me that a whole nother country had a brand of pagers and specifically only made them available to members of a terrorist group? Not no other person anywhere else could get those. At about 3:30 local time on Tuesday, as people shopped for groceries, sat in cafes, or drove cars and motorcycles, Their pagers in their hands or pockets started heating up and then exploded, leaving blood-splattered scenes and panicking bystanders. It appeared that many of those hit were members of Hezbollah, but it was not immediately clear if non-Hezbollah members also carried any explosive paste. See, that statement right there, it was not immediately clear. Let me know everything you need to know. As a journalist, why would you even put that in there if not to obfuscate the truth? Because that's not even a conclusive statement to put into a journalistic report. It was not clear to us whether people who were not Hezbollah members also had the pagers. That means, yes, they did. Yes, they did. And I seen a video of somebody shopping for fucking produce, bro. Like literally picking up oranges, looking at oranges on a fucking stand, and then they fucking pocket blow up. Next to somebody shopping for oranges. Then the fucked up part is that was one day. Like 2 days later, as they were putting these people to rest, whether they were Hezbollah members or other people, like the 8-year-old girl, I guarantee she wasn't in Hezbollah, right? As they're at the funeral for those people, they did it again. They did it again. So while you're mourning someone that you know who just passed, who may or may not have been some shit, you would put yourself at risk to mourn them. The first one was the primer. Nessa, I see you saying as the first one was the test. The first one was a primer. So boom, we can get these many people. But then knowing that, hey, they gonna come to put these people to rest, we gonna get more. I listen to NPR, who is not unbiased in of themselves, right? NPR has specific biases and they get funding from companies and entities, including like taxpayers and shit like that. The way they describe this shit, it just to me sounded like, bro, we doing everything in our power to not call a thing a thing. Because if I scraped away the name Israel, the name Hezbollah, and just said, hey, a group targeted another group by selling them pagers that were secretly bombs. And then they killed people. And then 2 days later, as those people being laid to rest, they targeted more people, mourning those people who died with more pager bombs. They threw them damn pagers away. What are we doing, bro? Especially with what's going on right now in Lebanon. This literally is happening right now, bro. This happened less than 30 minutes ago. Today. I can't even get here because we gotta go elsewhere and come back to it. The US and France working on Hezbollah-Israel ceasefire plan as it happened. Da 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 da. Israel's UN envoy says it does not seek a full-scale war. The Lebanese prime minister tells the UN Security Council that Israel is violating our sovereignty. U.S. tells UN Security Council that Israel has a right to defend itself. We're not talking about defending yourself. We're talking about terrorism, bro. We're talking about terrorism. Israel says it hit more than 2,000 targets in Lebanon in 3 days. Macron, who's not a good guy himself, urges Israel to stop escalation. Israeli ground offensive in Lebanon does not appear imminent, says the Pentagon. Come on. Come on. Come on. I don't even know what to say. Partly because I don't want to speak out of ignorance other than the facts and the thoughts that I have myself. But this is happening so quickly that I don't even know what the fuck to think. Dio posted this 2 days ago. 2 days ago, NBC quoting an Israeli official, we decided to kill Nasrallah after concluding that he will not agree to any solution that isn't tied to ending the war in Gaza. So damn, bruh just want to stop what's happening in a whole nother country. And you say, you know what, since we can't work with him, we'll kill him. I think it's a combination of both. Pentagon is lying for them, or they don't know what's happening. I think it's both. I think that they are not being kept aware of what is happening until after it happens. And they have to lie, because if you let loose this tiger and the tiger is killing people, you got to then say, oh, that person had cinnamon on them. And you know tigers hate cinnamon, right? That's why he killed them. Not because the tiger is free or anything, but it specifically was their fault. They killed the Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah because he wanted to end the war in Gaza. This might sound like nothing, but this is one of the most extraordinary, revealing things that Israel has said. In the words of Israeli officials themselves, Nasrallah literally died because he refused a side deal that abandoned the Palestinians. In effect, this man was labeled a terrorist, died because he refused to yield on what all UN resolutions and the immense majority of the international community have been calling for ceaselessly. Except he, unlike those others, had teeth. So they were going to go back and forth. So unlike what so many people are saying, the real reason for his death isn't because Hezbollah are terrorists and they're bad, but so Israel can pursue his land grab and ethnic cleansing unimpeded. He was one of the only ones actually willing to make them face accountability for it. And in their own words, that's why he had to die. This tweet, I've seen this online. Why is it extraordinary? Hezbollah have made it clear that they would continue to fire rockets into Israel unless there was a ceasefire. The Israelis were not willing to be held to ransom by Hezbollah from conducting their war aims. Again, a one-sided offensive cannot be called a war. It's extraordinary because it reveals the game that's being played. Israel is sorting between partners, those ready to sign agreements with Israel while abandoning the Palestinians, and enemies, those who want to end the massacres in Gaza and the West Bank and see the implementation of international law as expressed by UN resolutions. I ain't saying Hezbollah are good guys. Please, let's get that established right now. I'm not on the side of anyone taking lives on an offensive for whatever reason. Right? But on one side, we really have this country doing whatever the fuck they want to, and us bankrolling that. I don't know if tigers really hate cinnamon, Ace. I'll be honest with you. I just got that from The Hangover. On one side, the logic of the Abraham Accords. On the other, that of the axis of resistance. What is at stake now in the Middle East is the future of humanity. Will the future of the international order be based on the murder of Palestinians or on their protection? On might makes right or civilization? Nasrallah has chosen the latter, and the IDF dropped 80 American-made bombs to neutralize him. And now, 30 minutes ago, Israel begins ground offensive against Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. So you invaded another country. So you've been literally devastating a community of people that you have basically forced to two sections of their own state, their former state, for almost a year. It will literally be a year in 1 week. 1 week from now, this whole thing will have been happening over one situation. Damn, R.I.P. Pete Rose. That's crazy as fuck. Because they killed 100 people, we got to kill thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. We got to push them out of their land, their homeland, because of this one day. They've been justifying that since then. And now we're going from that to literally actively invading other countries for trying to make sure that does not happen. Israeli ground forces crossed into southern Lebanon early Tuesday, marking a significant escalation of an offensive against Hezbollah militants and opening a new front in a year-long war against its Iranian-backed adversaries. The incursion follows weeks of heavy blows by Israel against Hezbollah, including an airstrike that killed its longtime leader, Hassan Nasrallah, and seeks to set up pressure on the group, which began firing rockets into northern Israel after the start of the war in Gaza. The last time Israel and Hezbollah engaged in ground combat was a month-long war in 2006. Israeli military said in a brief statement it had begun limited, localized, and targeted ground raids against Hezbollah targets in southern Lebanon. You gotta be fucking born yesterday if you think that they have begun anything that's limited and localized and targeted. They are probably doing the same shit that they have been doing. This shit is disgusting, bro. This shit is disgusting, bro. These targets are located in villages close to the border and pose an immediate threat to Israeli communities in northern Israel. But what about the people who were just there? No word on how long the operation would last, but Army said soldiers have been training and preparing for the mission in recent months. So they had this planned. Israel has said it will continue to strike the group until it is safe for displaced Israelis from border communities to return to their homes. Correct, Dial. They said the exact same things about Palestine and were targeting hospitals and schools. And then the very first hospital they hit, they said, oh, they did it to themselves. They did it to themselves. There's no way we would do that to them. And then all of the hospitals everywhere are gone. All of the schools everywhere are gone. All of the people are being displaced. People in the West Bank are being attacked and displaced from their homes, and they ain't got shit to do with what's going on in Gaza. When are we going to really address what the fuck is going on here? So that's going on there. Back home, we have the case of Marcellus Williams. I gotta find the facts of what's going on. The state destroyed or corrupted the evidence that would conclusively prove his innocence, and the available DNA and other forensic crime scene evidence does not match him. I want to find the facts. A crime scene covered with forensic evidence contained no link to Mr. Williams. The prosecution's case against Mr. Williams was based entirely on the unreliable testimony of two incentivized witnesses. And when you say incentivized witnesses, what they're usually... Yeah, Ace, I completely understand. This shit hurt my heart. It usually means, hey, if I don't say what you want me to say, I'm going to go to jail. I'm going to get blamed for whatever I got going on. Mr. Williams has repeatedly faced imminent execution as he tried to prove his innocence. The victim's family opposed Mr. Williams' execution, but the Attorney General of Missouri continued to fight to execute him. Incentivized informants are a leading cause of wrongful convictions because in the public's eyes, if you have someone saying, yeah, he did it, or yeah, he told me he said it, cool. We have corroboration of what we want to believe anyway. So cool. Off with his head. But never mind the fact that there was a deal done. It was crazy that the last governor of Missouri basically was like, nah, we're not going to execute him. We're going to stop the execution and prevent that from happening. And then the governor who is now in charge of Missouri said, nah, fuck that. We're going to go through with it. And I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of people protesting or signing their names to charge us for them not to do this. And they said, fuck it, we're going to do it anyway. And they don't have to have any reasoning behind it. They can just do it. They can just do it. And I'll be honest with you, with as much publicity as this was getting, I really expected somebody somewhere up higher to say, nah, we can't do this, but they didn't, right? And that's the left side of the house, right? the right side of the house, they not gonna take anybody off death row. But what they will do? They will allow a president to take $1 million bribes for pardons from various people. They will sell you clemency. They will sell you a pardon. But someone who there's actual doubts about their innocence can't do nothing for you. Like, so what does this leave people in thinking? Like, there obviously is a tiered justice system here where if you have money, you can skirt the law and get around it. You can walk down Broad Street, kill somebody in broad day, and nobody will bat an eye. Or if they do and you get brought up, you got the money to get out. You got the money to fight it. You got the money to hold it up so much where it's just frustrating and they give up. But if you don't, you don't. Now, I ain't saying conclusively the man was innocent or not. But I feel like there was enough doubt about his guilt that you don't kill him for it. Dial says Biden didn't step in and stop his execution because it serves the state. He was innocent. That's what he says. Okay. But even if there was a doubt, the doubt should be enough to not kill someone. Dial says the police killed the man in question and then framed him. He was framed as a teenager and lived his entire adult life waiting to die. Was let off death row and put back on death row. It's not the first time this has happened, and it's not the last time. You could just be a person that they want to get rid of, and they'll get rid of you. The state will make it happen. This shit suck. And prison is an industry. It's not meant to rehabilitate anyone. It's not meant to... It's strictly for you to be punished and locked away and forgotten. The state didn't want to pardon him because they knew they'd have to pay millions in false imprisonment settlement. So instead, they just kill him, which is a perversion of the word justice, if people even believe in that anymore. You know, there's just so much that's kind of going against everything that we as a people, not I'm talking about as what the state tells us to believe in, but we as a people believe justice is, right? And there's so much going on that people are just like being snuffed, not sometimes literally, but figuratively as well, for wanting to believe in the ideas that were being sold the idea that, you know, if you're innocent, things will work out for you because, you know, we're not gonna let this happen to you. This specifically was a thing where the childish thought that that could happen was extinguished from millions of people's minds last week with this case specifically. And Dio said earlier, it's not the first time it happened. It's not the last time it happened. It's not the first time in my adult life I've seen something like this happen. The first time I've seen this happen was this case. Troy Davis was a man convicted and executed for the 1989 murder of police officer Mark McPhail in Savannah. McPhail was working as a security guard in Burger King and was intervening to defend a man being assaulted in a nearby parking lot when he was murdered. Davis maintained his innocence up to his death. What were the facts of the case? During Davis's 91 trial, 7 witnesses testified they had seen Davis shoot McPhail, and 2 others testified Davis had confessed to the murder to them. There were 34 witnesses who testified for the prosecution and 6 others for the defense. Although the murder weapon was not recovered, ballistic evidence presented at the trial linked bullets recovered at or near the scene to those of another shooting in which Davis was also charged. Again, in this case, there was enough in question. So I feel like, all right, we're not going to kill him. But until we figure out what's going on, let's take you off death row and figure out what's really happening. Millions of people around the world called for the execution to be stayed. And they said, fuck that. No clemency. They denied clemency the day before. Obama did not intervene. So, I mean, this is not the first time that's happened. And it won't be the last. It just sucks to know that, like, we live in this land that says justice matter, and it doesn't. It doesn't. Rest in peace, Marcellus Khalifa Williams. That was an injustice that happened last week. This is my hometown. This is Augusta, Georgia. A state of emergency was called by the governor, right? And that got resources loosed. But as you were driving around, if you were able to drive around, this is what you saw in Augusta, Georgia after Hurricane Helene came. I was originally supposed to come home Wednesday. But the thought was the storm was going to hit Atlanta.
That's the whole business. That's the whole business. That's the whole.
Everybody in two lanes, like.
I hate that this video is so short, but Thursday projections changed, and they were like, well, it's actually going to hit Augusta. And I was like, well, my mom and sister is here, so I can't leave them here by themselves during a hurricane and go back home where it's safe during a hurricane. I had Dungeons and Dragons Thursday night. We started at 10:30. We ended around 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, went to sleep. 4 o'clock, I woke up because the power went out. I was up when this shit was on top of us. And in my familial home, I was watching the doors in our like sitting room. I sleep with a fan on. So the fan went out and everything got quiet. But you know, you can feel like energy flowing in the house and then nothing. But like I was 7 feet away from some doors that go out to our backyard. And I sat and watched as these doors that are pretty secure now because it's facing outside rocked in and out, like literally was being pushed in and out. And I was just like, dog, this shit is a lot more serious than anybody could have ever thought. And I listened for like 2 hours, 3 hours. I don't even know, because it's not like I was trying to be on my phone. I did pick up my phone at one point in time and was like, this shit is wild, because you're hearing the wind. Yeah, it's raining, but you're hearing the wind blow things, howling, whistling around the house you grew up in. And was like, well, if the doors come in, I got to push this up there to support that. I got a game plan for what could happen just so I can make sure my mom and sister were straight. My mom was upstairs. My sister was near me. And I did not wake up that morning thinking that night I could possibly be hurt. But that's exactly what could have happened. You know, I was texting a friend of mine, like one of the only friends I have left back home. And I was like, are y'all going to be all right over there? And they text me back like, hey, yeah, it's Augusta. Nothing like this ever happens in Augusta. The only sleep I got is when you could hear and feel like, all right, it's moved away. But then it came back. It's moved away. But then it came back. I got woken up 2 or 3 times just by the wind whipping at 90 miles an hour. And it was only then that I was like, damn, I should have moved my car. I should have done this. We should have done that. Because nothing like this, to my knowledge, had happened in Augusta before. When the sun came up, I got up. I walked around the house. The house was straight. I went and checked on my neighbors. They're, I ain't gonna say elderly because they're not old, but they're older. Mr. Fred and Miss Gloria. Checked on them. They were good. Their house was good. Like the next street over, they had like one of those storage buildings, like a small metal building. The roof of their building, their storage building, had come off and been blown on top of their house. Down the road, they had a metal carport that had been blown upside down. A neighbor a couple houses over had a trampoline that was upside down halfway on their house. But for the most part, the people on my street were safe. So then I got in my car, drove down to the bottom of the neighborhood where I saw, like, if you had a tree in your yard, that tree would, not all of them, but a singular tree in your yard, that thing was knocked over. Whole trees, like, completely uprooted.
Whole business.
Branches broke off near people's houses. Power poles broken in half. Some of them broken from the base over here over. A lot of these lines were just gone. This is the downtown area. Trees older than me. But we don't live anywhere where there's trees like this. This looks like my step-parents' neighborhood. They live in a neighborhood full of trees. Broken, knocked over. People's houses fucked up. I had never seen my hometown look like this. I live pretty near the highway and got on the highway and tried to get on 20 to come back home and couldn't. Had to go the streetway 30 miles up the road to get on the highway. And even then, when I was able to get on the highway, it was a 1 lane on I-20 because trees in the middle of the highway were blown over, knocked over onto the highway. To me at that time, it felt completely insane. from my understanding, the storm was supposed to be to the west of this area of Florida and come up. So where we were originally thinking it was going to hit Atlanta. And by the time it hit Atlanta, just be like rain. But I think it shifted, came over this way. So people in Savannah, people in southeast Georgia, completely devastated. Came all the way up, hit Augusta, went this way, hit Asheville. This is like heading downtown. So Augusta just got a bunch of trees everywhere. Power's been out, and power's out at like the water treatment facility. And so the water is off. And I thought that was bad until I saw Asheville. This shit is wild to me. Not just Asheville, but communities that are in the mountains flooded in the mountains. A house floating. People have never seen this before because this shit is like unheard of. You know, I'm getting my news from people who are out and about near there. You know, Ace being like, there's a facility in the mountains that no one can get to, no one can reach. Phone service is fucked up. There's no internet. Devastated. Like, to me, I've never seen shit like this except for Hurricane Katrina. And I hate to compare things to Hurricane Katrina because that was supposed to be a once in a lifetime event. And Katrina itself was not just the hurricane, but also just the devastation of bridges and levees and people isolated because they don't have the money to evacuate when they are being told to be evacuated. Extreme loss of life due to poverty. And that was at the beginning of my adulthood, and now we are at, I still want to think I'm in the spring, maybe early summer of my adulthood, and it is happening on a more frequent basis in areas that are not equipped for things like this. And then on top of that, as Dio was saying in the chat, FEMA's not going to be able to help those people. Not because of anything that these people have done, not because of anything that we have done, but because of things that are also going on simultaneously, right? FEMA said last week it faces a $9 billion shortfall for Hurricane Helene recovery efforts. On the same day, they got a $8.7 billion weapons package from the U.S. So our tax dollars are being routed to fund Israel bombing Lebanon, bombing the Palestinians, and people are dying here. Ace is saying cops are now guarding grocery stores and not allowing people to buy food because of scarcity. My job won't allow me to help anymore. Asheville's just gone. I can't even imagine how that may feel for you, Ace. I really do apologize from the bottom of my heart. Because this shit is fucking outrageous, bro. Like, how is this even a thing that's happening right now? These are bears in trees.
Look how big those squirrels are. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. They're up above the house. Very, very top.
These are bears in trees. And yeah, bears can climb, but like, goddamn, dog.
I mean, 30 years basically, so on and off, and I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen devastation like this. It's been flooded before, but this is completely insane.
It started that Wednesday, pouring down rain. It rained Wednesday, Thursday, and she came Friday. So you can imagine all that rain, plus that wind. I mean, everything she could move, she moved. That's some powerful water. That's some powerful water. We need more help, yeah. I mean, whoever can come in and help, come in, because we need help.
Like, this shit is outrageous to me, bro. Like, what do you even do? What do you even do? Shit like this is happening in Nepal. Shit like this is happening in America. Shit like this could happen anywhere. And we're unequipped to help our own people because we funded a genocide. It happens in the southwest of England. That shit crazy to me. Developed worlds, developed nations. Like, what the fuck are you supposed to do? The only available Wi-Fi in Asheville is at the public library. What do you even do? Can't get in contact with people. Yeah, man, this shit is wild. Happened in Germany last year. I think I seen video of that. As humanity is just not prepared for the consequences of our actions, that I don't even think that we, like, this is specifically the part of a Deep Impact or, you know, any of those disaster movies that came out in like the late 90s where the government knows way more than they are letting us know, so we won't panic, but it is bad. We can visually see it's bad, and it's probably worse than what we can see. But sure, wind turbines are the bad guy. We know that this is linked to the glaciers melting. Yeah, for sure. For sure. But we are only part of the equation. Right? It's the people who run these corporations, right? We were talking earlier about the greater good of a thing being more important than profit. And you said to me at the time, we were talking about Twitter, so I'm not going to say that you said this about this, but we were talking about Twitter, and it's like, it's capitalism. Nothing is more important than the money at that point in time. So there's no solution that is going to be presented that will fuck up the money. Like, we could all, if we all decided, hey, I'm not going to use my lights, I'm not going to use my air conditioner, I'm not going to use this or that, none of this shit, cool. That's what it is. We can decide to overnight and do that for the next year. And it will not matter as much because those boats are still going to go across the ocean. using combustible fuel. Trucks are still gonna have to transport all these goods across the globe in mass. People got deadlines. They gotta throw up these houses with, you know, fucked up foundations and things. There's money to be made. And so individual people could stop, and it still would not put the dent on things, because corporations that actually make things happen in mass will not. They are building houses with plywood walls. 1000%. Get it up quick and cheap. Ain't no beating Mother Nature, man. My sister just got lights again. Shout out. Like I said, my family is with my aunt right now. I really want to shout out my aunt for coming through. Like, my mom and sister could have did a day or two. A week, I was telling them, nah, y'all need to come my way. But when the water went out, when they were telling them, boil water if you can, or set up jugs of water, that was something else. That was something completely different. Nemo, it is, man. And we're supposedly the most developed country. I seen a video of a bridge completely just falling apart today in the water. The water played a huge role in that, but let's also not decouple the fact that a lot of our bridges and the infrastructure here is not up to par. That was actually one of the main things that the president was supposed to start getting together when he got into office 3-4 years ago. And I've never been to Asheville, Ace. You know, I had a friend go there earlier this year for a Krungbin concert and said it was a beautiful place. Said it was kind of scary because the people, but said it was a beautiful place. And I always wanted to go. People have been trying to get me to go to Asheville for the longest. And now I don't know if I'll ever have that chance. This shit is weird, man. Then on top of that, this shit happened on the east side of Atlanta yesterday.
Trying to route everyone off this one exit right here.
What you're seeing is a building where they make chlorine products. I think that there was something that mixed with water, which it was not supposed to do, and caused a chemical reaction. Then they put out the fire, then it caught back on fire. So this chlorine gas you're seeing sprouted in the air in Atlanta. Wait, I don't know if that's that, because this over here don't look like that's that. That look like it's something else. I don't know. Disregard that one.
This is how everybody becomes The Walking Dead.
This is actually crazy. I've never seen a fire like this before. It's still burning. This shit was well over 24 hours ago.
So that was yesterday. This is today in Atlanta. this haze over the city. I wish I would have screenshot the warning I got on my phone. The warning I got on my phone said some wild shit. Oh, and also this was the third time in 7 years that fire has engulfed this plant. Biolab is the swimming pool and spa water care division of Lawrenceville, Georgia-based KIK Consumer Products. Somebody has to... Yep, this was it. Georgia Emergency Management Agency, Homeland Security Agency on behalf of the Environmental Protection Division, local area emergency due to Rockdale County Biolab fire. The EPA is monitoring air quality for chlorine and related compounds. Chemical levels are unlikely to cause harm to most people. What the fuck does that mean? Who is most people? How do we know if we're part of the least people? Now I want you to put this and that together, right? Like, all right, COVID happened a couple years ago, and catching COVID makes you like a lot more susceptible to things happening. And I want to say, cool, when we were all at home and we were all masking and we were all taking care of ourselves, that would keep us from catching COVID. But over the past few years, a lot of that has been rolled back, both by the government and all personal decisions, right? So like people catch COVID and be like, all right, it's all right, it's mild, I'll be all right. But like, you don't know what the fuck is happening to you long term. So how do you know you're not some people? Because chlorine gas is in the air, bro. I don't think that's normal anyway. Then this shit has started to drift. It's drifted into the north area, Gwinnett County. And it's like, bro, what the fuck are you supposed to do? These people are not coming to save us, dog. The least people are the ones that the air won't get infected. But if it's in the air and the wind is blowing, if it's in the air and what happens when it rains? What happens when it rains? Because if chlorine being touched by water started this explosion, what happens when the chlorine gas is in the air and it rains? I'm in the north part of the city, direct north. So I don't know if it'll drift over here. I hope it doesn't, obviously. But like, what happens? My music is way too loud. My bad. My bad. Y'all had me turn the internet off. My bad. What happens when it rains? That rain is going to kill plants and poison rivers and lakes. I don't know, man. Nobody is coming to save us, bro. I don't know, dog. They lifted the shelter in place today. So it's safe. I don't know, but I'm masking up when I leave the house. I gotta go to Duluth this week for some stuff for a potential job. It's concerning. Really concerning that anything could just happen to you and but according to them, it's tolerable. I had a reaction driving through it today. Ugh. Now, I don't have a lab mask. I still have some N95s, and I have the mask I wore to DreamCon. So I probably will use a combination of both of those. But, bruh. I don't know, man. And my whole thing is not to make us like dejected about the world we live in, but just to keep us informed of the things going on. And like, as we talk about things, hopefully we start thinking about how we want our futures to be. Definitely mask up for the foreseeable future for sure. And if you know if a medical professional is telling you that, you better do it. You better do it. This shit out here is nuts. Yeah, Patrice. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. Hey, I don't know if y'all know, Patrice is literally all the way around the world on the other side of the planet. And she be coming through when she can. Much love to you. Thank you so much. Good morning. We were getting texts from Piedmont directly. My only goal here is to make sure that y'all stay up. I can't say stay woke no more because they have bastardized the meaning of that, right? But to be conscious of things happening going on in the world and making better decisions for yourself and the people that you love. My family is tired of me being like, well, y'all need to drink more water and y'all need to do this. But it's only because I'm conscious that those are things that we need, right? Because once you up, you can't go back to sleep. That's been September, y'all. Well, Patrice, that's because you got that gut. People have been cool to you. You got that gut. Nah, I'm kidding. I don't want to diminish you or your experience or Dio's friend's experience or anything like that. But just stay up. Be careful. You send the signal, we'll come running. And there's things we didn't even get to. Yeah, these were just the top, quote unquote, top news stories. But I guess I should ask, is there anything that we didn't cover today that y'all wanted to talk about before we get off here? Yeah, man, I can't even imagine what we're going to be talking about next month. And I'll be honest with you, at the end of October, we're heading into November. I probably will be trying to deep dive into like election stuff, both national and local. One thing we should all do, and in the vein of being aware of what's going on in your area, is like actually take a look at the people who are running for your local government and like what they stand for. Because we don't do that no more. Like, I was thinking about that like last month when, other than these presidential debates, right? We don't have mayoral debates like that. Yeah, 23andMe board all quit outside of the CEO. But I also feel like that has a lot to do with what we were talking about earlier, the for-profit and capitalism, right? We're also one thing we should also discuss in that vein of 23andMe, the whole board quitting, is Chat GPT, right? The CTO quit just as their mission changed from being one about being nonprofit to being for-profit. Just literally as that news was breaking to us, the CTO was like, I'm out of here. That is some scary shit. Yeah, he would get about $20 billion right now based off of the valuation of OpenAI, from my understanding. So it's weird to me this man be like, yo, we need to steal all the intellectual property in order to make my product. And yeah, I want to make money off my product. Yeah, 23andMe does sell your genetic info anyway. But I feel like it's about to get way worse. It's about to get way worse than just selling your genetic information. Like, you doing that automatically puts your ass in a database where the government, if you ever do anything, if you spit at a crime scene, they know because of 23andMe. Yeah, man, I don't know. In the course of this year, the way that I feel about that entity has just gotten so weird. So weird. But anyway, it's a lot going on in the world, man. So watch your six, or You know, I'll watch your back and you watch my back. Anything that I don't know going on, let me know. Anything that y'all may not know, I'm trying to let you know. Because we all we got out here, man. We got to take care of each other.